So Lauren and I have decided to sit down and recap our 2024 as we're getting ready for the new year, which is right around the corner. What a better way than to discuss some of our learning experiences from 2024. And one of our biggest projects and learning experiences was our Harmony Lane Beach Cottage project.
So Harmony was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house on a 3rd acre, right around the corner from a boat ramp. And just my mind goes to tiny house, and we were just so excited to take it on and just meet the challenge of where it was, the size constraints, and how to really just make this property something unique and special.
Yeah, absolutely. It was meant to be a flip, so that's how we started out. We acquired it off market, wholesale deal that we got at a good price. We had a nice budget in mind, and unfortunately we ended up exceeding that by quite a bit. Some of that was our own discretion and decision making, some unexpected things as well, but ultimately we got to a point where we really wanted the house to be something special, and for the niche buyers that we were kind of targeting, we just felt like if we were going to do it, we just had to do it right. So we just found ourselves in a position where we had to finish no matter what, even if the cost was a little bit more against what we had initially anticipated.
I think we got excited.
Yeah.
We've lived in a tiny house prior, and built one from a
travel trailer,
and turned that into a home at one point. So I think we were caught up in the emotion of doing that again and just having so much
fun with it,
and just seeing how much potential the house could have, especially on the size property that it was. So
yeah. But we got to a point where we realized, hey, it's time to move on. We had to, eye a couple other projects. We decided that instead of waiting and just listing it and hoping that the right buyer would come along, that we would pivot instead of making it a flip and just make it a long-term rental property instead. We considered Airbnb, short-term rental, but the house, was brand new, all new appliances, brand new inside and out, all major components were new. So we just really felt like it was better suited as a long-term rental. And that's one of the, first things that you look at when you're analyzing a potential investment, is you always have to make sure that your baseline, your fallback, worst case scenario is that long-term rental projection. So you never want to find yourself doing a flip and getting stuck where you can't sell it, or projecting something to hopefully do really well as a short-term rental, and not be able to just fall back as a long-term rental. So thankfully at this point we have a nice tenant in there. We were able to pull most of our cash back out that we needed. It's cash flowing positive each month, and it just works numbers wise as a long-term rental. So that was kind of our learning experience, I guess you would say, or kind of like our regrouping once we got to a certain point.
Yeah, I think anytime that you decide that you're going to do real estate investing, you always have to come in with the mind frame of multiple exit strategies. If you come in with one, you're most likely not going to succeed, because the market shifts between like construction time or your budgets. And you just want to be upfront and honest with like, how can I make this work? Because real estate truly is a long-term play. It's nothing that is a short-term game. So when we purchased the property initially, we already had pre-planned like who our end buyer was. So we thought, the snowbird route, an investor that would appeal to like an Airbnb style, like Eric had mentioned, but we took that. Yeah, we knew it was a niche, but we also used that niche to our own advantage later on down the road. So when we just hit that point of like, okay, we're just not going to sell it right now, we're going to hold on to it. That played into that strategy. So you can't just have one end all be all, one, Cinderella, the shoe's going to fit. Like, that is not how real estate works.
Of course not. Yeah, and again, by being able to pull the equity back out, that was the most important part. That allowed us to then move on from that project to 2 other projects that we ended up taking on shortly thereafter. And the reason why we just didn't leave it listed and continue to try and sell it as a flip is, that area at the time when it was listed had about over 90 days on market as the average just to go into contract. So for us to sit there and wait 3 to 4 months on average minimum, hoping, especially with this one being a unique property with a niche buyer pool, who knows how long it could sit. And it was also the seasonality aspect, the fact that we were out of season or coming out of season from the most ideal optimal time to sell, that it would just make more sense to just pull back, scrap our initial plan as a flip, and just turn it into a nice long-term rental property. So now here we are with a nice tenant in there, and like I said, cash flowing positive each month. So
Yeah.
a win in the end, but it was a good learning experience.
It was. And, I don't care what anybody says. Realtors, people, they use Zillow in general just to quick shop houses, right?
Price history, stats.
Yeah, exactly. So the last thing you want to do is sit there on what you already know is a long time on market and just continually take price drop after price
drag
drop,
it out,
because that's going to show. And it doesn't matter if it's 6 months down the road, a year down the road, like they see that. And so we just came to that point where like, no, like we know what we want to do and our goals and everything in our strategy. So let's just take it off, and maybe a year, 2 years down the road, we'll revisit what we can do with the property. But that history is not something that we wanted to get beat up after.
Yeah, at the end. And in the meantime, it's just a nice little rental property for us. So success. And now on to 2025, where we'll try not to get too crazy and carried away with unique properties like that, but who knows, we'll see what comes.
Yeah.
All right, I just said not get carried away with unique properties. We already have a unique property. We enjoy unique properties, so maybe we will pick up some more. We'll see.
We didn't learn that lesson. It's okay. Maybe not get so heartfelt carried away.
There you go. All right, thanks for watching.